Hello everybody. It's been a long time because I wanted to make maybe this stream special because last time I was actually planning Tell Me Lie Season 3, like making rating of all the characters, but I guess I'm so tired of that shit show, so I decided to move to rankings, but today it's not just ranking, guys. It's gonna be more of free talking in any order that I feel right. I feel like we can make live streams just talking about TV shows, their like qualities, good sides, and then we can move to like video that I'm making after stream. So after stream we are gonna make a video with maybe ranking or maybe just all 4 TV shows. You can see them on the screen: Industry, Cross, Paradise Season 2, Cross Season 2, Industry Season 4, and CIA just dropped like yesterday or something. It's new. And actually CIA is a good show just because Tom Ellis is there, Oliver from the Tell Me Lies, so basically not only him, but we have Lydia also from Tell Me Lies, played by Natalie Lindes, and Tom Ellis play in CIA. You can watch it. It's been just 1 episode, and I already like it because the chemistry, not between them, but chemistry between Tom Ellis, his character, and another guy from FBI. Basically, the TV show CIA is like what is called procedural setting, right? And Tom Ellis, he is a lead character, and he is a spy or something like this. And basically, he brings the same dangerous charisma from Tell Me Lies, from his Oliver character. I don't know how to explain it, but I think I only watched episode 1 and it wasn't really enough to like understand if it's gonna be good or bad, but I think his performance itself is good. His performance definitely decent. It's not something like really special. He's just playing a spy or whatever it's called, like the rogue agent. So he is CIA operative in New York City, and basically he found himself a partner from FBI, and that partner turns out to be somebody he hates. He really cannot get along with that guy, like, and this, like, there's gonna be maybe interesting partnership. So I started with this TV show not because this is like the best or something. It's just recent, the most recent, So I want to just start with this because 1 episode, of course, it's not enough to judge it objectively, right? So, but what's really enough for me already, I basically want to talk about Cross Season 2, Alex Cross Season 2. Whatever you call it, Alex Cross or just Cross, the TV show for me is just perfect. And basically the theme is similar to FBI and all that stuff, but Cross himself, he is a detective. So I'm gonna put another reroll from Cross so we can see what's happening in there. Let's just make it. So I'm gonna find the Cross Season 2 reroll that I prepared before going live. And actually, I see that somebody voted for Cross Season 2. If somebody is still watching and did it, I wanna hear your opinion on that TV show. If you can just let me know. So here he is. And basically, today I'm going to talk about TV shows from the US and some UK, US made TV shows but I'm going to talk about TV shows based on my experience in editing, because I was basically editing music videos for years, and I'm going to make this from my music editor's perspective. I want to just tell you what I really appreciate, the style, the moments of specific episodes, because I'm not going to just rank them like the best, second place, third place, fourth place. I'm going to talk about them in random order, but after that we are going to put them in specific order. Once the stream done, we are gonna to drop a video with all 4 TV shows, maybe not CIA, but at least Industry, Cross, and Paradise, they are gonna be there on that video I'm gonna make. So first of all, I need the sounds from the Cross, because you can hear only the music, but I'm gonna need to listen to Cross Season 2. Alright. So from the very beginning. In Cross Season 2, basically the chemistry between Alex Cross and his partner Kayla. This is something caught my attention immediately, because I didn't usually watch FBI or any, cops type of TV shows, but this time I really enjoyed this project, and I didn't even watch season 1, but this specific moment, for example, in Cross Season 2, it made me love this TV show, because I can see how basically a detective and an FBI agent, they can be just so real outside of their work, of course, and they can just be surrounded by other people dancing and just enjoying this moment. And this specific basically scene, when they do this line dancing, it was so good to watch, because the vibe I got from that specific scene and the energy from Alex Cross. Alex Cross, basically, he is a charismatic detective, and his personality, it's something I'm really enjoying, because again, he is a divorced man with 2 or like 3 kids, I don't know, but since basically he is a single and his coworker Kayla is also a single woman, they basically decided to spend this like time together, and they went to this party or whatever it's called. So, and this specific scene from Cross season 2, I think it deserves everything. At least it deserves to be talked about, because the style, the costumes, I don't know, but the vibe is just electric, and their basically chemistry is definitely undeniable chemistry that you can see from the very beginning. And basically Kayla, by season 2, her personal connection with Alex intensifies, and we can see that on the screen, because I didn't even watch again season 1, but I can already tell you from just what I've seen in this season 2 that this personal connection is of course intensified and it's electric, because after this basically scene from the club, they went home and Alex basically took Kayla. He didn't took her, but they went basically to Kayla's, and this specific moment basically shows how respectful Kayla is. She didn't just grab Alex. She didn't just, force him into sleeping with his coworker. She actually let him choose. She let Alex make this decision. She made him comfortable, because he is a single, yes, but he is a divorced man. He has kids and he has like liabilities, right? So basically she let him choose by leaving this door open. She shows her respect. She shows that boundaries should be respected. And of course they did it twice, not only that night, but I mean, like, why I'm bringing this scene specifically, because if you didn't watch this scene, you need actually to pay a little bit attention to the cinematography, or I don't know, because it's not just intimacy or something. They actually made it unique, and you can only understand that if you watched it. So, and I couldn't basically help myself but notice that villains in this TV show, they are not just stupidly like bad guys who gonna just conquer or just kill somebody. They have their motives, and they can explain, and they can actually justify somehow their actions. So these two, they are kind of villains, but in this TV show, Alex Cross season 2, they are not just, again, stupidly killing somebody. Specifically this woman Luz, she is revenging on her mother's death, and in her basically world there is no such a thing as justice at all, because she sees people who did something bad, something terrible to her mother, to other people, as inevitable sacrifices, and she wanted them dead. And those sacrifices not only apply to people she wanted dead, but other people who actually love her, and maybe she loved them as well. They sacrificed themselves in this TV show, and at some point it becomes like confusing whether she is actually just understanding what she's doing, or if she's just, randomly sacrificing people. Like for example, this dude, she sacrificed him, but she is just telling, for example, that she didn't do anything, that he just sacrificed himself, and basically he worshipped her. And that chemistry, I brought it here because in this TV show it actually seems something refreshing. She is not just typical villain, she's not just she's not even hiding. She's actually openly living her life, but she changed her name, of course. She basically she got rid of her first identity, and now she's going as Rebecca. But she was born as Luz. And basically, I'm gonna bring this Luz character because her specific character is just something special, really. And since this is TV show called Cross, of course the main character is Alex Cross, but she is making this TV show, I don't know, the Spanish vibe maybe she bringing. It's like something different, literally. So this is perfect mix, this is working, and this is why she is here. I think this character deserves all the, success of this TV show. And basically a lot of decorations, a lot of Spanish, or I don't know, Mexican or what type of traditions, but a lot of those basically traditions, rituals, they are just making this vibe, this mix of Mexican or Spanish and American cultures, like mixing together, and this is perfect. So if we're talking about basically Alex Cross and his connection with this woman, Rebecca, initially basically they considered her as the main suspect, who is just going after everybody who was somehow related to her mother's death. So she is retaliating and they want to just arrest her, but they didn't have evidence against her. So since basically they didn't have anything on her, she's just openly communicating, going even on this meeting with Alex Cross, who is a detective, by the way. So she's not scared, literally, she's not scared of anything, but as long as they don't have any evidence on her, she is safe. So, and this is again creating this like perfect chemistry between Alex and this woman, even though they have just met, but they already established that chemistry. In one particular scene, I'm going to pay attention to one particular scene, this scene. When they basically met, Alex already ordered this table, so they had drinks, but the dialogue that basically started after Alex turned off a microphone. After he stopped recording her, she opened up actually, and Alex, he was able to kind of find, a lot of in common with this woman. Since Alex's wife was killed, I didn't watch season 1, but I just got to know from this specific dialogue that his wife was killed. And this specific thing basically opened up this woman, Rebecca, more. So Alex, he's using his professional skills. And of course, in this particular scene, it's not a detective anymore. Once he stopped recording her, once basically Alex turned off the microphone, he is not a detective anymore. At this point, he is just a human. And from her emotions, we can see that she feels that he is not anymore here to just trying to basically, what it's called, make her like do wrong move or something, but he is there just to help her. Actually, he is going to make her revenge more doable. He is there to make this revenge not just the way she planned, but he is basically offering his help as a detective. But first of all, he is offering his help as a human. And from his perspective, losing his wife the same way, or maybe not the same, but after his wife's death, basically he can easily just understand that woman. So this is why this chemistry, I guess, works. And this is why this woman, Rebecca or Luz, she showed also her emotions, that she is not just that driven by revenge. She can be, human as well. And so a part of the main chemistry, which is Alex Cross, the main lead character, and his ally, FBI agent Kayla, we have that another chemistry which is completely different. And this is why I like this TV show, because if we're talking about this chemistry, it's definitely romantic. They both singles. They both basically using every opportunity they together just because they are singles and they are co-workers. They still respecting boundaries, but this chemistry is just romantic, and they doing that consciously, of course. And this chemistry is something different, because here basically Alex Cross and Rebecca, they united by similar trauma, similar past. They both basically lost people they loved. They both basically lost somebody close. They share this similar past. So this bonding is more like trauma bonding or something like this. They can understand each other. this is why she agreed to go actually on this meeting with Alex Cross, because she could have literally just easily rejected this, offer and just keep going her revenge, keep going after people she consider wrong people who need to be punished. But she accepted this offer. She went on this meeting with Alex Cross, and because of this particular scene, we basically witnessed how Alex Cross, a detective, how he can be just a human without his microphone recording her. He can be even more attractive, he can be more appealing, and of course she felt that, and she opened up, and she not just confessed anything that she killed that, but she usually, how it works, he just felt that basically this man, he is just coming from the same background, maybe he lost somebody and he can understand me. So she opened up, and while he didn't get any information that can be useful against her, but he did what he's supposed to. He made this woman a little bit more soft, and since basically this was his initial goal, let's say mission, to open up her a little bit, soften up her, and making her not so ruthless maybe. So he succeeded, and this is why I like this TV show, because of these scenes. They just perfectly show you how it works. So guys, I'm going to make maybe next TV show, and next TV show is gonna be I guess next we're gonna make Paradise. But this time we are gonna make it on recording. So let's play a little bit detective here. And while Alex Cross basically turned off his microphone on time, I'm turning on my recording button in completely wrong time, because I should have basically recorded from the very beginning, but I forgot, of course. But so this means basically I need to tell all the stuff I have just told again, but it's okay. So Alex Cross TV show season 2. After basically Alex's wife died, and from season 1 a lot of information that maybe everybody needs to understand to watch this new season. You need to be aware of his past, what he went through. But personally, I like this TV show, and I didn't even watch season 1. I started literally with this season, but I immediately fell in love with Alex and his co-worker Kayla. And this particular scene, for example, when they were just dancing and spending time together, not just as a detective and FBI agent, but as people. They were just surrounded by others and enjoying these moments. And of course, his charisma, it made this scene particularly attractive, because Alex Cross, he can be so electrifying. He can be just so charismatic. And of course, Kayla basically, by season 2, her personal connection with Alex intensifies, and we can see that, we can feel that. And this is immediately basically making me keep watching this TV show, and I don't even know what it's about. Like, I didn't even see previous season, but I already sympathize with these characters, and I already rooting for them. I wanted them together. I don't care if he's a divorced man and if he still has somebody or just kids, but I see this chemistry, I see this works, and I wanna this keep going. And basically, the way they started this relationship, this professional relationship, grew into something more personal, you know. And the way it started, basically, it was so predictable, but at the same time, maybe Alex and Kayla themselves, they expected this happening. Once they went to this club, once they got drunk, they knew it's inevitable, but they let that happen. They wanna that happen, and they made that happen. And the moment they understood that they are gonna be together this night, and the way that basically Kayla making Alex still choose if he is going to spend this night together with Kayla or if he is going to just come back home. The way she is respecting boundaries and just letting this door open, it's perfectly showing how their relationship is still professional somehow. It's still respecting boundaries, and it's still so considerate. Like, they do not just abuse this moment because they are both singles. They are trying not to hurt each other because circumstances, it allow them to be together, but they know that basically consequences, they can be so distracting because they are both working, investigating crimes, and it's gonna be implicating their work, their process. But I like this chemistry. I like of course, I like the first scene when they first got together, and first basically night they spent, it was at Kayla's, and her basically humble place. I can see this is like so cheap. Maybe she just renting this just for this night or something like this, but it doesn't really matter because it even more fascinating because the vibe, it's still going from that club scene to this motel looking room or something like this. The vibe, she is just bringing that vibe from this club to her place, and it feels like, you know, the vibe is still there. And she turned on this music, and it created even more vibe, you know, because Alex basically, he was ready to go home, but she basically she left the door open, and Alex entered because for him it was like invitation, right? It was a sign that she is ready, and he just entered. And I like this scene because it's not just typical love scene. It's something like showing how partners, a detective and FBI agent, how they still maintain those respectful, you know, respectful relationship, how they still maintain this respectful relationship even though they are already drunk, they are wasted, they are gonna just do whatever they want, but they still a detective and FBI agent, even though they are not wearing uniforms, but they know basically that boundaries go first. And next couple basically that making this TV show somehow even more interesting, because protagonist always important, and if protagonist failed to be interesting, for example, if Alex Cross was not that interesting character, I would really just consider this character, Rebecca or Luz. She basically has two names. And if Alex Cross didn't really make any difference, this character, she makes this difference because she is not just a typical villain, she's not just a crazy killer or something like this. This woman, Rebecca, she changed her name from Luz to Rebecca. She kind of got rid of her past, but by changing her name, she just wanted to stay. She just wanted to disappear for some period, and she came back basically to retaliate on her mother's death. But her retaliation, it's something, it becomes as ritual, or she basically gathered people and she's surrounded by people that worship her. She is like a god for these people. And this dude basically she found, Lincoln, Esteban Lincoln, if I remember correctly his name, Lincoln Esteban. He is worshipping her because what she's trying basically to do is like not just retaliation, it's more than that. Again, for him, for other people, she is like a god, and they are worshipping her because she is trying basically to justify her actions, even though they cannot be really justified. But she is still really interesting character because she is not, again, typical villain, and because of her mysterious, let's say, character and complicated past, it's not so easy to understand this character right away, because it's becoming more clear maybe by the end of season 2 episode 5 or something like this. But by the end of season 2 episode 5, you will already sympathize this character, even though she is again killing people. In this TV show, she is considered to be a villain, but you're gonna find yourself sympathizing this character, and her actions they becoming like secondary, because I think it was on purpose to make her so like real character, not just another villain who is stupidly just going after everybody and killing everybody, but she is just unique character. She has such complex personality. She has those tattoos. They all mean something, and she is making them because of her past again. People she lost, apparently they become those tattoos on her back. And this character, Rebecca, she is considered to be the most dangerous person right now in this TV show, Cross Season 2. But since they don't have any evidence against her, she is still basically free, and they are trying to find something and to make her make mistake. But she is not making any mistake, and this is forcing Alex Cross and his partner Kayla to go to her and directly ask her about all the murders, about all the sacrifices she made. But of course, her confidence and her strong performance, it can be so convincing that she is an innocent woman. And Kayla, at some point, we can see she basically freaked out because of how Alex Cross turned off his microphone. He stopped recording this woman, Rebecca, and they started this conversation on another level, on completely personal level. Alex Cross, he started sharing his past, and that basically she lost his wife. He's lost his wife similar way. She got killed. And this moment, it became so intimate because at this point, he showed basically his human side, not his detective side. In this particular scene, we can see Alex Cross as a human, not as detective. And since he is not a detective, she can feel that right now he is just a human. But she knows she cannot confess or reveal all the truth because in reality he is a detective. But right now in this scene, in this specific scene, he is just a human, and they just two people bonded by similar past. And this can be as trauma bonding, or this can be two persons who can feel and empathize each other, even though no matter how terrible that person Rebecca is and what she did, it doesn't prevent Alex from being this, real with her. And basically his personality is of course creating that comfort. And I felt like she was ready to reveal, to confess something, but she stayed strong. She didn't reveal anything, but from her emotions, again, from how she was crying, it was obvious that she feels guilty. She feels that and she understands her actions, they are wrong, but she's still doing that. And Alex basically offering her the other way of revenge. He is offering her more, I don't know, legal way of revenging on her mother's death and on other people. She is going to be like still doing her way, but he is offering her this more right way, let's say, to bring justice and to retaliate. But still, this scene is this particular scene itself, in this meeting, it was just perfect for me because I saw another like Alex Cross that not just is not just a detective, but it's a human. And I saw this woman Rebecca, who is just not stupid villain. He is as well just a human, and they both just united by that similar situations happened in their lives. So this is why I think this TV show has potential to become really strong. By the end of the season, I guess we are gonna see something really big. And so since basically Alex Cross is still going, you can find it in Alex Cross season 2 episode 5 is currently airing. It was revealed. It was dropped yesterday. But today we are not going to just talk about Alex Cross, because you can see I brought 4 different TV shows, and regardless of the order you can see on the screen, I started with Alex Cross. I actually started with CIA because this is the recent, and Alex Cross is still going. Actually, all of them is still going, but Paradise season 2, that was something I didn't expect I would like, actually, because usually I don't like apocalyptic or whatever it's called type of TV shows, but this time I really enjoyed, and I'm gonna tell you why it was different this time. And if you know Thomas Doherty and his characters from Tell Me Lies, Gossip Girl, any other TV show or movie, you know that this character, he's always interesting, he's always different. I mean, the actor, he's always changing, he's not staying in the same role, he's not a one-trick actor. And this particular TV show showing you how he is not just the same type of character from TV show to TV show. And after last time, basically, I saw him in Tell Me Lies as a toxic student and Lucy's boyfriend or something like this. We basically witnessed completely different Thomas Doherty. And this time, he played a guy called Link. They calling him Link because he is just literally linking like different societies or something like this. So the end of the world, the apocalypse, happened 3 years ago. And of course, different types of group of people who cannot go along with each other, they basically maybe enemies or something like this. I don't know, but he is a guy who is connecting those, and he knows exactly where is better in this country, where to be, where is more safe, where is more supplies, and they are gonna go to find some bunker or something like this, and that bunker is his final destination. From what I understood, he just stayed with this character Annie because they needed some place to stay. They needed some food, they needed some maybe supplies, and they actually just they broke into her place. She was scared because 3 years she didn't see anybody. She was isolated for 3 years. Can you imagine basically that after the outbreak, after that volcano erupted or whatever caused that apocalypse, she was basically isolated for 3 years. And since Link wasn't just alone all those 3 years, he can easily understand why she is acting like this, because maybe he witnessed a lot of people also isolated and how they becoming so, you know, aggressive when you're trying to approach them or something like this. So he found basically perfect, I would say, perfect way to make this woman Annie finally relax. And it was not just random communication. It was not just because she had no choice or something like this. She willingly actually got to know this dude Link, and this basically becoming in season 2 of Paradise, Thomas Doherty's character Link and what is her name? Annie. I mean, I have the actress Shailene Woodley. So Shailene Woodley and Thomas Doherty, they play Annie and Link, two people who met each other after 3 years from the apocalypse, from the start of the apocalypse. And after 3 years, basically, Annie, this is her first maybe interaction. This is her first real interaction, and she is feeling that basically Link, even though he wasn't really alone, isolated, he is somehow talking with her on the same level, I would say. He is just connecting with Annie. So this basically bonding it was at some point so simple because I expected basically everything that happened actually. I already knew at this point that they are gonna be close and they are gonna be maybe together at some point. But the way that basically producers, the director executed this particular scene, it was something special because first of all, Annie, before the outbreak, before the apocalypse, she was working at Elvis Presley's estate, like as a museum or something. She was working, and she was basically a guide or something like this. And after the apocalypse, the end of the world, let's say, that Elvis Presley's estate is still the place she is living. She is still living at the same place, but it became basically a post-apocalyptic version of that Elvis Presley's estate. And she has still all the memory of his music. She still has all his belongings, maybe, and she is showing basically Link and telling him about Elvis Presley, and this is becoming like a lesson of Elvis Presley's music for Link, because he has no idea. He never listened to his music, but Annie basically she plays this perfectly. And Link basically he cannot tell anymore if she is referring to Elvis Presley's music or if she is just talking to him, to Link, because she is actually bringing up Elvis Presley's songs, but the way she doing that, it sounds like she is just talking to Link like normal talk, because Elvis Presley songs, they can be named that way, you know. So it's confusing Link, but at some point basically they got to this point when they stopped basically referring to Elvis Presley. At least Annie, she got relaxed enough, I guess. At this point she realized that basically Link, he is a good guy. Right now it's obvious that he is not gonna just force her into something or hurt her, and she finally relaxed, and this is her first closeness after 3 years. Can you imagine, basically? Because I can. I know what it is when you isolated for years, because first intimacy for this character since the outbreak of apocalypse, and first real closeness, and it seems like basically they are just stupidly crying because this is the emotion they feel. Because for her, it's actually first person she met. And last time, basically, it was 3 years ago, she communicated, she touched somebody, hugged somebody, and we can see from her crying how she feels, how it feels, right? And this scene specifically makes me realize that what will happen to me. For example, I experienced isolation in a small town. Isolation is so common because not only in small town, but for me it happened naturally because I moved from big city to small town, and this isolation, it can be so like naturally happening. You can stop worrying about this isolation, and at some point you can live like for years isolated. You can be just isolated for 5, 7, 8 years. And that was exactly what happened to me. So since I know what isolation feels like, and I see them crying, and they were isolated. At least Annie was isolated for 3 years, and she is crying like that. I can only imagine what will happen to me after I've been isolated for 8 years or 7 years or something like this. Of course, I'm not gonna cry once I connect with somebody, once I get close enough to somebody. I'm not gonna cry, but this moment, it created the trauma bonding feeling, And I think you can only experience something like this when you find somebody who also, when you find a person who also went through this isolation or not being intimate with somebody for 3 years. And Link, he knew basically that Annie, even though basically she was alone for 3 years, he knew that she needed this, like, to start gradually, slightly, not like immediately. So he respected her boundaries, he respected her feeling of loneliness, her isolation. He didn't force her to go with them. He offered Annie to go with him and his crew. And basically, she, again, I don't know why she did it, but after they spent this night together, she decided for some reason to isolate herself again. Maybe she cannot just live her life otherwise anymore. She stopped basically this connection with Link next morning immediately. She woke up and just went to her isolation again, basement or whatever. And he woke up and he noticed that basically she is not here anymore. And he understood at this point that basically she is not going with him. But he tried at least. And this scene particularly, it was so, for me, it was so personal because after that sensitive, after that emotional last night they spent together, after that trauma bonding, after all those years they were isolated, after they were 3 years not seeing anybody, not being close to anybody for 3 years, not being hugged by somebody for 3 years, and finally they found each other. And right now it becomes just so strange, I guess, because Annie, she feels more maybe safe, more comfortable being isolated. She just used to it, and she chose to stay alone. But I think she changed her mind. She changed her mind right after Link left her, because she saw that he is really leaving her with his crew. She realized basically that she lost the only person she found in 3 years. A part of her horses. She likes horses because that was a part of her life. Horses, they were part of her life since the very beginning of season 2 of Paradise. Because maybe they were the part of that Elvis Presley's estate that she was working as a guide at. She was actually a guide, and she was showing that Elvis Presley's estate to people, to tourists maybe, local people. And this is actually the Elvis Presley's estate before the apocalypse. And this is the exact moment when apocalypse started. Something like volcano erupted, and all the news just showing that. And she is just coming back to Elvis Presley's estate, her workplace. And first thing basically she didn't really panic. And I was surprised that Annie, she was ready for this moment as if she knew that something is gonna happen. She grabbed basically this gun that supposedly belonged to Elvis Presley, since this is his estate. And they basically brought a lot of stuff. Maybe they already knew they will need that stuff to survive this apocalypse. They brought all the necessities. And they basically they lived in this Elvis Presley's estate next winter, apparently. And this winter became last for another character that Annie was so close to. That was maybe one of her co-workers or something like this, but that woman didn't survive. And that was the last person Annie really communicated. Like, after that, basically, she was completely alone for 3 years. And since basically she buried that woman, she started basically embracing this loneliness. You know what I like? I like basically how this TV show not so focusing on like apocalypse itself. It's not focusing too much on the like people just dividing into different groups and just fighting each other or something like this, and all the world collapsing and everything is just ruined. They more focusing on emotional state of this woman, how she is basically going through this isolation. And this is the exact thing I'm looking for when I'm thinking about post-apocalyptic TV show. I actually care more about how character like this going through this change from one life to completely another. We can see her transition, and we can see her transition from 3 years of loneliness to this first arrival of Link, first person in her life since the start of the apocalypse. This dude, he was the first person he met. In 3 years, basically, not seeing anybody, of course, it's making you so, I don't know, fixated on the idea that everybody is your enemy, and she feels like he is a threat. But once basically she recognized that she recognized basically those guys, they are friendly. Once she understood that basically they are not bad guys, but she still kept her gun, you can see that she wasn't really ready just to eat them without her gun. Elvis Presley's gun, because it's still Elvis Presley's estate. The place that she worked at. And since basically she worked at Elvis Presley's estate, and now this is post-apocalyptic version of Elvis Presley's estate, she knows a lot about his music, she knows a lot about his life, a lot of facts about Elvis Presley we can hear from Annie, this character. And I think that was a huge part of this bonding, because it didn't start just the moment he arrived, I mean Link. It started, maybe this specific scene started that bonding, that connection between Link and Annie. He actually gave her his ID just to show the way he was before Apocalypse. And he gave her that maybe because he knew that they are gonna be separate again after this night. I guess that gift was on purpose. It wasn't just random. So, and next dinner, basically, they made this special dinner because that was last night together. After that, Link and his crew, they are going to go to some other place, to some bunker, when they are gonna spend maybe the rest of their lives or something like this. But Annie, basically, she has a choice right now. She is going to make this connection with Link even stronger and maybe fall in love with him, or she is just going to make this casual interaction and nothing intimate. Just next morning she will forget everything and just keep living her lonely life. But of course, to make this first episode of season 2, Paradise TV show basically started with this decent first episode because of Thomas Doherty and Shailene Woodley's performance. Those two basically, they delivered such strong characters. They played perfectly their characters, and I mean, I know that Thomas Doherty, he's maybe younger than Shailene Woodley. We can see that, but I think that their closeness, I can be wrong, but I guess that closeness is just beyond just the setting. It's more than that. It feels like they were together in real life. And I read some basically article that they were actually hugging once filming basically stopped. They were still hugging and they were still basically, let's say, intimate somehow. So I feel like they connected not just as characters, they connected as actors, they connected as real people outside of the setting. They actually experienced themselves this moment. So this is why it feels so real. Because Thomas Doherty, he is one of my favorite characters from The Gossip Girl, from Tell Me Lies. Even though he appears to be like one season guy who is always disappearing next season, I think this Paradise TV show, even if it's not gonna be completing continuing into season 3, at least this episode 1 is already enough for me to keep watching it. And I know that Link, Thomas Doherty's character, he is not in next episode, and he's not even in episode 3, maybe a little, but I'm already waiting for episode 4 and any other episode where he is gonna be, because I want to see them reunite again. I want to see them together at any point of the season, and I know that this is gonna be maybe the point of the season, because she stayed alone. She didn't go with Link. She decided to stay. She stayed herself, and he left her with his crew. And apparently this is gonna be the point of the season. She is gonna be finding him by the end of the season, maybe. She's gonna go and find him. I guess this is gonna be the point. Maybe he's gonna find him early, but I think they are gonna create this drama because she's gonna be going through a lot. She's gonna be attacked by some enemy people. She's gonna be torn between keep looking for Link or maybe going her own path, but at some point they're gonna reunite. They're gonna just, maybe they are gonna reunite soon. I don't know, but I'm looking for that. And I know that basically she realized that staying at this estate, it was maybe a mistake. She maybe had to go with Link. Maybe she needed some time to think about it, but being lonely for 3 years, it makes your decision making maybe not so fast. She is thinking too much. She is maybe overthinking, because 3 years of loneliness is just inevitably making you rethink everything, because you see an enemy in every person because you cannot trust. And 3 years of loneliness definitely gave her this trust issue, big trust issue, since basically she was just herself for 3 years, and she considers everybody as not friendly. But this is the only person, Link, he was the first maybe person since the start of the apocalypse, and she didn't go with him anyway. She stayed at this estate. So I think this is why this TV show is interesting, not because of other stuff, because of Apocalypse itself. I don't really care about the post-apocalyptic series too much, but maybe I started care about this specific TV show because of the performance of Thomas Doherty and Shailene Woodley. So next TV show I'm gonna bring is final one, and it's gonna be Industry. And this is another example where I'm not aware of what's happening literally. And Industry is the only TV show out of all these that I'm not really understanding of what's going on. But why I'm bringing Industry right now after 3 seasons, and we already have this season 4 completing, only 1 episode left, and why I'm bringing it right now, because it seems so late. But since I didn't watch any of previous seasons, I started this TV show Industry as my background TV show. I put it on the background. I am doing my other stuff, and this TV show is just playing, and I'm just listening to it. And sometimes I notice something really, really beautiful, interesting, like specific scene or something, like dialogue, music maybe, and I'm immediately just paying my full attention to everything that's going on the screen. And this is exactly what happened last time I saw this TV show. It was like episode 7 of season 4 of Industry. I put it on the background again, but this time I realized that this TV show is not just something you should be watching on the background, because those characters, they talk a lot about the financial stuff, all the companies that basically they working at, they owning. But the best part of this TV show for me is not all that business stuff, all that financial information. It's gonna be overwhelming if you're gonna try to understand every detail that they are discussing about business, about trading, about betting, about all those, again, finances. It's gonna be overwhelming. If you're not even native speaker, it's gonna be even more overwhelming. So I decided that this TV show for me is gonna be just as venting TV show. I'm gonna just let it go on the background, but I'm gonna watch it, and I don't care if I understand the financial stuff they're talking about, but I definitely understand, since I'm a music editor, a music video editor, maybe a former music video editor. I understand perfectly when I see a scene, and when I hear specific music, and when I see how perfectly it put together, like all the stuff, it's enough for me to stop doing all my other business and just to immediately go watching this episode. And this is what I did. So season 4 of Industry, specifically, it literally just got my full maybe attention because of the style and aesthetic, not because of the main let's say theme of this TV show, because the main basically subject of this TV show is all the financial stuff and all the like business that they are trying to build, right? But I really enjoyed watching the specific conversations, maybe. For example, character Yasmin, and Harper in episode 7 of season 4 of Industry. They went to this club. They basically finally they killed their pasts. They buried their rivalry. They stopped being enemies. They were not completely enemies, but Harper, she was basically hating Yasmin for her, let's say, wealth. And Yasmin, she is basically coming from old money. Her father is a big influence in London. And Harper, she was climbing her way from the bottom. And in this specific scene, I heard a lot of stuff that was so personal. For example, what Yasmin basically told about being at her father's grace, growing up at her father's grace. And the way basically she explained why she would do anything to live a day in Harper's body, or it was Harper actually who told that, but it doesn't matter because they both kind of missing something in their personalities, and that's something they are missing. They are trying basically to kind of find it in each other's personalities. And this is ultimate trauma bonding in Industry season 4 episode 7. This is what I call ultimate trauma bonding, because both women basically they united because they went their own ways, and both of them basically started differently. Harper right now, she is a director. She went from the lower maybe position to this right now director of her company. And Harper, she is working in selling, and she may be still at her father's grace. But what I like about this specific scene at the club and this conversation about growing up at someone's grace, and how basically they managed to find something to start this friendship, I would say, because right now basically we can see that Industry season 4 episode 7, it was a turning point for this woman. And since I don't know all the financial stuff, again, I cannot understand fully the picture, but I can understand the trauma and what it feels like for Yasmin, because she feels like she doesn't really deserve her position because it was given by her father. And she sees basically that Harper, she built all that career herself, and she sees that strong, unstoppable, ruthless woman, and she is jealous. She is literally jealous. She has just said that she is jealous of Harper because of that. And at the same time, Harper, she is jealous of Yasmin as well, because Yasmin was always a living example of what it is to be privileged. Harper never was privileged. And since basically this night became like their bonding, trauma bonding, let's say, this scene particularly grabbed my attention because the aesthetic of the scene when they were dancing, and the music, the lights, everything, it was perfect. I mean, like, I don't know who basically making this TV show, who is working on the sound, who is editing this, but this specific scene, it was the best thing I literally just saw in 2026 at least. And this specific club scene, it was so simple, but it was so resembling me the music editing process. When I was doing those music videos, I usually was looking for moments like this to cut them and to insert them into my video. I usually choose something like this. I used to choose something like this. And when I see moments like this, when I see this club scene, when I see them dancing, I even more forget about all the stuff they were talking about before. I don't even care about that stuff. I'm not here for the finances and the business. I'm not here for the stuff they talking about. I'm here for what they are showing, what they are going through. In this specific thing, it felt like I'm just returning to some of my music videos. The vibe immediately just, making me realize how much I'm missing that. Because you know what it is? You know what it feels like when you're making the music video or something like this? When you're working on this process, you always putting music and you're trying to like align this with the footage. You're always trying to make this like perfect mix of both. And when I see somebody just manage to make this perfect club scene, perfect music choice, perfect choreography, perfect camera angle, everything is just so resembling me of my music video period. But it is the past. I'm not going to talk about past, of course. I just once again appreciate that basically TV shows like this exist and they can bring me vibe I'm looking for, and they can literally inspire me, because these characters and the way basically they show up in this TV show, they inspire me in TV show itself. The production, everything inspire me. And for me, it's enough. I don't even need other stuff. I don't even need to rewatch, to listen to all those, dialogues to understand the financial situations they are talking about, because that can be really overwhelming if you don't have time. I don't think you need that. But if you're really into all that stuff they're talking about, to understand all the process they're working on, it's okay. But I think the visual part of this TV show industry and the vibe, specifically in Industry season 4 episode 7, is just the best, maybe aesthetic, the best club scene in the first place. It's so electric, it's so magnific. So I guess basically Yasmin character, she is the part of the success of this last episode, because this scene, it would have been way less interesting if it wasn't for her, if she was maybe with another person, not Harper. It would have been maybe different, and the vibe, maybe it would have been missing. But I think this is the perfect mix, the perfect choice to put these characters together in this particular scene. And this is why this bonding between Harper and Yasmin, it deserves to be mentioned, because I think if you also never watched Industry before and you're only looking for aesthetic, you're only looking for beautiful scenes, maybe you are an editor, maybe you need some moments to put into your video, I highly recommend you try this Industry, at least fast forward a few episodes and maybe you can find something interesting, because I found this scene, this club scene from episode 7 of Industry season 4, and I already know that this scene itself, this club scene with Yasmin and Harper, it's already making me just think about going back to music videos and just forget about all the other stuff and just keep doing what I enjoyed on this channel. I always loved making music videos, and regardless of copyright music, I always really loved the process of putting together footage in music. And when I see somebody just made perfect scene like this, I'm realizing how good that work, how, I don't know, how the feeling basically when people watching million times your music video, it's something unique. And when everybody just typing, commenting that basically it was like 100 time that person watched your music video. This is exactly what I feel when I see this scene, because I already have watched this scene like maybe 100 times, you know? Maybe right now I already watched this 100 times because it's just beautiful. And the good thing is, if you watch something like this, stylish, something basically good quality, of course, like this Industry TV show, which is never the same. It's trying to be different from episode to episode, and it's actually making your taste better in choosing things, like choosing music, choosing movie, choosing clothes. It's making your taste better. You will start basically making choices based on your understanding of aesthetic And this understanding of aesthetic, the way you see that, only coming from practicing, from watching something. Because you train your eyes, you train your brain, and every time you see something like this, when it's not just stupid collapsing typical one, but when it's really beautiful, and when somebody actually put a lot of work to put together music and footage and to make this so perfectly fitting each other, you just catching that moment, you're basically brain catching that moment, and next time you making decision, it's already impacting your decision, because right now it's like better decision making, because I don't know, your taste becomes better over time. And when somebody watching just random stupid stuff, like scrolling his TikTok nonstop and just eating everything that basically, you know, showing up everything just nonstop, all the random stuff, is degrading your taste. This is how it works, bro. So selecting something like this specific scene in any TV show and looking for something like for aesthetic in TV show and finding moment like this is the opposite of scrolling something and hoping that basically you will find something and you will get to know something new. But every time you're scrolling that shit, you just see more and more of useless information that your brain just putting nonstop. And of course your taste is gonna be terrible. It's gonna be literally no taste. This is what I understand, bro. It's like it's better not to watch anything rather than just scrolling random shit. I'd rather watch episode of industry and not understanding a single word they talking about. Like, I don't really understand any financial terms they mentioning. I have no idea what they're talking about in this TV show. I don't even understand why this TV show going from modern to ancient party like this. And I can miss the connection between that, but I see the aesthetic, I see the costumes, I see this Yasmin character going from a businesswoman into this ancient woman, Roman maybe woman. I understand basically that whatever it shows, whatever this show basically making every episode, it's still beautiful and aesthetic. Everything is still there. It's not dropping quality. And since I'm looking for aesthetic, it's even better that basically I'm not overwhelming myself with all the information they are talking about, because they talking a lot and they discussing a lot of stuff basically that I don't really understand in like the world of trading and whatever they are doing. Maybe it's simple information, but for me it's just something I completely don't understand. But I always understand the language, this language, which is visual language, aesthetic. I always understand, as a former music video editor, when I see something special, when I see the TV show is not just a regular like project, when it really tries to be different, when I see that, and when I see the amount of different settings, like ancient one, for example, this party, and next time is completely different modern party, and when TV show is actually putting work into decorations and to create all that vibe, this is what actually I need. And for me, Industry season 4 episode 7, or maybe any other season, if it's as good as this one, if it's maintaining that quality with all the vibe it has, I will definitely need to rewatch all those seasons at some point. But right now I'm enjoying this season 4 of Industry because I basically see characters that I don't know, but every appearance I see, it's making me more comfortable with these characters because I see how real they are. I see the interactions, and I see perfect, maybe not always acting, but for me it's already enough to complete this TV show with its last episode 4, and maybe at some point I will return to this TV show and maybe I will rewatch all the seasons. But right now, this one thing was enough for me to realize that Industry, it's not just about finances, it's not just about business, it's not just about what they are doing, but it's about all that nightlife, all that personal stuff they are showing outside of their professions, outside of their work. They are just human and they showing those emotions. And since basically this is maybe last season, I don't know, but we only have one episode left in this season 4 of Industry. I think I'm definitely gonna rewatch all the seasons at some point. But right now I'm sticking to this scene, and I recommend you to watch this scene, particularly with the music, with the original song. If you can find it, you will not regret. You will just appreciate for the aesthetic the scene brings. I mean, the music choice, the lights, the pace, the slow dancing, everything just perfectly, and the timing and the camera angle. I don't know. I don't see any flaw. I don't see anything that I would change in this particular scene. So this scene is this scene deserves to be my favorite of 2026 from all of the TV shows. Maybe I didn't watch all of them, but I think what I imagine when I'm thinking about what made my channel at the beginning and what made me love music videos, all that just here, all that exists in this one scene. And this is why I know that basically I know that people, they were not just randomly coming to my channel and watching those music videos, because I see that people love this TV show and they love this particular scene, and they love basically that Yasmin and Harper connection, that chemistry, maybe not romantic chemistry, but still I see that basically people appreciate the same stuff that people appreciated when they were coming and watching my music videos. They would find something like this. And I understand that basically my perception of aesthetic and what it is, it's all in this one scene. Industry season 4 episode 7. If you know who I am, but if you have no idea to understand what person I am and what aesthetic I'm bringing into my videos, just watch Industry season 4 episode 7 and the very last scene, this scene, club scene. If you rewatch it, you rewatched my channel for last 8 years, because this is what I was doing last 8 years. I mean, like, aesthetically, visually, this is what I was trying to make, because whoever made this scene, this one, whoever who was working on this scene, he just produced, or she, whoever that person is, it was literally my perfect music video, my perfect scene from a club, my perfect club scene or whatever. And that person just created this. And I hope that at some point I will be able to create something like this as well. Maybe even my own video that I would make myself from the very beginning. Not from any other TV show, but at least watching this thing in Industry season 4 and realizing that basically I was trying to do the same for all these years, but at some point basically using copyrighted music and editing all those videos becoming just grueling, tiring, and you becoming just, I don't know, like a robot at some point. It's just really not that fun at all. So, but I guess this Industry season 4 episode 7 with this particular scene, it's really reawakening in me that music video editor. And I guess maybe we will see at some point something on my channel, something like with that vibe, with that rude, attractive music video vibe, you know, where two people just dancing and fast editing. They just, you know, perfectly, I don't know, mixed with the music, everything that I really loved about doing that. Maybe we will see that at some point, but I don't know exactly if I'm going to. But I want to. So I guess that basically this is just the beginning. And once basically I saw something, I watched something that making me basically think about that music video process, it's becoming even more, I don't know, nostalgia, whatever it's called, nostalgic. And I hope it's not gonna be just nostalgia, but it's gonna be really coming back to this process, but maybe with different approach, and making this channel again, bringing millions in views. This is my goal, guys, and I hope you will help me to bring those numbers again at some point. If we will able to make video like this, music video like this, and started with a little conversation like between Yasmin and Harper to establish this connection, and then basically this transition into them dancing in this slow motion or whatever, and them basically dancing in this music, and the way basically they connected physically at this point. It was always something I was looking for when I tried to create any music video. I was always looking for that perfect connection from start to the very ending. And I don't feel like right now my videos they have that. So I want to find that, chemistry in my videos again, that will bring millions in views again, because I know that this channel basically it has potential to make millions in views, but we will need something more right now, because you cannot repeat your success. You can only make another bigger success, I think, or just stop doing anything. But we will not stop. We will keep doing what we do right now, but I will definitely do something with the music videos or related to music videos. I don't know, but I will find maybe at some point the perfect opportunity to use all my music video editing skills and to mix it with my current content direction, that of course driven by my needs. Like, we are monetizing right now content, so we cannot just make anything I want, but at some point I will find that something that basically mixing both my passion for the music videos like this, like this scene, for example, in Industry Season 4, Episode 7, and we can mix it maybe with something that is consistently working with algorithms and that is aligned with all the guidelines, that is not, against any rules, any copyright rights. So I'm so ready, but I don't know where to start, bro. So if you really can help me from you, any suggestion, any comment, any action, it would be a lot, because I need to bring again all the people who once subscribed for my music videos and now basically they are just ghosting because I'm doing different content and they apparently not watching it because they are just ghost viewers, ghost subscribers. So we need to get them back somehow. And I need them also to help me, but they are silent. So we need to reawake those people. And I don't know how, but I will find basically a way to reawake him, to reawake all those thousands of people. So thank you for watching, babe. Maybe we will go live with Fatal Seduction Season 3 Africa, because it's coming in March 13. It's not so soon, but not so far. So Fatal Seduction, at least it was already a banger, and on my channel Fatal Seduction is the best performing video right now. You can find it, and with that season 3 coming, I think this is the perfect opportunity to create another Fatal Seduction video. Thank you for watching, guys. See you next time. Goodbye.